Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Monsters and Medics. Say hi, monster hunting medics.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So we return to Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Our heroes, having escaped from an attack on their boat by an undead dragon turtle, had leaped into their lifeboat, saving Lieutenant Peckish, the ship's valiant chicken, along the way. Arriving on Stormwreck Isle, they found themselves assaulted immediately by two zombies and made quick work of them. Standing on the docks of Stormwreck Isle, they were approached by two figures, a kobold with some sort of tinkerer's tools in her hand, and a tall figure in a trench coat and hat. And that's where we're going to kick off. Adventurers, what would you like to do?
Who's feeling brave?
How far away?
And
are
we
these people?
had killed the slow walking and clean people on the beach, right?
Yeah,
Who
the two
looked
zombies.
dead.
Two zombies,
Yeah.
they're dead.
Oh yes, turn to ash in front of you.
Yes.
So the smaller figure, who you can see is a kobold, a sort of a dragon-like humanoid, about 3 to 4 feet tall, sort of fiddling with something in her fingers, and she sort of nudges the other figure, the tall figure in the trench coat, and says, "These might help. Go get Elder." And the tall figure in the trench coat is going to start walking back up the cliff steps. Would you guys like to do anything?
So just to confirm, how far away from us is the little kobold?
Kobold's about 40 feet. 40 feet
Okay.
away, just at the start of the steps going up the cliffs.
I think we should approach.
Yeah. What else are we going to do? Because there's nothing around, is there? There's just these people.
Look, you can make a perception check, but at a quick glance, you see open area. There's a single boat tied up with some sort of lock. There's a couple of shanties they sometimes use for a basic cover, but not much that grabs your interest. You captured most of it with a perception check last episode.
Okay. Does the kobold look wary of us, given they've identified? Like they can see us, I'm assuming.
Oh no! In fact, the kobold scampers up to you, Nyx, seeing you catch its eye, and says, "You good at hunting zombies?"
Hunting zombies? We just slaughtered 2. Are you telling me there's more?
Yes, many more. Lila good, but too many zombies. Aye, Lila. Who you?
My name is Nyx Nymeria. I'm a sorceress. And these are my companions.
You have powerful magic? You help hunt undead?
That remains to be seen, depending on what you need.
You come see Elder?
Yes. Yes, we have. Can you lead the way?
You all come? You all mighty heroes?
Keelan's a little bit less. I don't want to say forthright, but he's kind of just like, is it Layla? Do you say Layla's your name?
My name, Lila.
Lila.
Mighty inventor.
Lila. Inventor?
And you see
You
she's
live
sort of
here?
spinning some sort of tool. Yes, live
You
on
live
Dragon
here?
Rest.
You live on Dragon Rest. And these zombie things, do they live on Dragon Rest?
No. Why would you
How
live with
long-
zombie?
Yeah. So how long have they been here for?
Oh, they've been here about 10 years.
10 years. All right. Right. And who's Elder?
Elder is up clip. You come see. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's where Elder is. Who is Elder?
Elder Runara. Very smart. Yes.
Renara. Right. And is Renara helping with the zombie problem?
She's scared of zombies.
She's
I think
scared
she
of them.
needs help with the zombie problem.
Maybe. All right. Anyone else got any thoughts? Just sort of looking around.
Has
And
Grimmador
with this, you sort of
seen kobolds before?
You tell me. You tell me. I'm happy for you to make that determination for your character.
I would say, maybe let me roll the nature check to see, because he's pretty new to this part of the world. So,
Mhm.
18. So that's a good roll. That should do it.
Yeah, sure. So with an 18, yeah, you know about kobolds. They're I imagine you've encountered them perhaps in your travels before. They sometimes ambush travelers. They sometimes are creatures of good. Kind of depends on who's leading them. They're kind of loyal creatures. You might find them guarding a dragon wormling's horde, or you might find them serving a benign master. They're really influenced by who's leading them, is what you would know. They're they're decent fighters if they're provoked. They're not an undead dragon turtle, but they can be in packs quite fearsome.
Using a persuasion check, can I ask of Layla what they can tell us about the elder?
Yeah, you roll me a persuasion check. While you're doing that, you see a couple other kobolds have stuck their heads up over the side of the cliff and are looking down at you guys now.
So I rolled a 10.
A 10. With the twin, Lila sort of looks at you and says, come see Elder. She talk good. Lila good with tools. Not so good talk. And you see two other kobolds stick their head over the cliff and say, why you take so long, Lila?
So Einar's been looking around like he's checking to make sure we're not being followed by someone. And then strides forward and says, look, I don't think we're going to get anywhere here. Let's just go with the little person and see what they have to say.
Let's do this.
Are they little?
Yeah, sure. Easy enough.
Kobold person.
If it turns sour.
So you're
Yes.
currently on the map at the base of Dragon's Rest, and you can see that there's a path up the cliffs towards Area A1, and you're free to walk up there towards A1. The kobold Lila turns and sort of starts heading up the cliff stairs, and you see that her wings, she's a winged kobold. They're sort of tucked in behind her, so you couldn't see it before, but she's got wings that are marked with a few scars and recent injuries. So she starts leading you up the cliff, and you come towards the base of this next area, which is A1 on the map. So as you arrive...
What do we see?
So you see a bunch of about 6 to 7 other kobolds scramble over to you and sort of clamor for your attention, sort of like eager children almost. They're sort of, visitors seem to be a relatively new thing to them, and they're sort of pulling at your clothes and saying, who you? You mighty adventurer? You help? Yes, yes. And there's about 6 or 7 of them swarming around you.
Okay. So they seem quite friendly for all intents and purposes.
They seem quite friendly, yeah.
Yes, we come to help. Please, show us the way to the elder.
Okay. So as the kobolds sort of chatter around you, another figure sort of strides down the steps from higher up, and you can see she's fairly graceful. She's an elderly human woman with weathered brown skin, white hair in tight braids, and kindly hazel eyes. She sort of has a simple white robe, well cared for, but not fancy or expensive. She smiles as she draws near and extends her arms in greeting and says, welcome. Welcome to Dragon's Rest. May Bahamut's guidance lead you to whatever you seek.
Right.
Sorry, whose guidance?
Bahamut.
Are you the elder?
Yes, I am Elder Runara, the leader of Dragon's Rest. The only town here on Stormwreck Isle, I'm afraid. Not the only point of interest. I do thank you for...
Would Grimitor know of Bahamut as although not a cleric, as a paladin? Would he heard of?
Yeah, not a hard check. Can you make with me a religion check?
Yeah.
DC 10.
-1 I had. No. 9. So
9.
okay.
Heard
of it,
the
but
least
don't know
religious
anything
paladin
about
ever.
Actually, anyone else who wants to can make a DC 10 religion check.
Yeah.
Grimato, a bit of housekeeping from last time. Because you saved Lieutenant Peckish, I forgot to hand it out at the time, but you can take a point of heroic determination, or the new form of inspiration that is in 2024 rules.
Yes.
So that'll allow you a reroll. Humans automatically get one of those a day, but if you want to do something that's particularly cool or heroic and you want to re-roll the dice, you're welcome to use that once a day.
I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
On the
Yep.
on the religion check.
Okay, so this is not a hard check. The name Bahamut is actually relatively common. Anyone who's gotten over a 10 would know that Bahamut is one of the gods of good dragons. He's known as the Platinum Dragon, the patron and progenitor of metallic dragons. And in the D&D pantheon, there's chromatic dragons, which are sort of evil, red, blue, green, yellow. And then there's good dragons, which tend to be metallic, so like platinum, bronze, brass. And Bahamut is sort of the king or the progenitor of these dragons. He's prayed to by many adventurers or dragons themselves. He tends to uphold honor and justice, or when they need courage to face a great threat, he encourages adventurers. He doesn't really interfere in mortal creatures' affairs. He sort of acts indirectly, tends to only help directly when Tiamat, the Dragon Queen, is involved. But a good figure, by all means.
Let's hope she doesn't make an appearance. She's rather
Yes.
cute. So we hear you have a zombie problem.
Nelda Renara sort of nods sagely and says, "Yes, and I do thank you for clearing out those 2 zombies down at the beach. It was most kind of you. My kobolds are fairly capable to varying degrees, but it was good that you removed the danger before it became a problem." And one of the kobolds leaps up and says, "I very dangerous." And he has a sort of a dagger in his hand. "Magic dagger, slay many things." And he's sort of scampering around you still. And Elder Renara sort of pats him on the head and says, "Yes, thank you, Frub." But yes, we do seem to have a zombie problem. It's been like that for several years. We're not entirely sure what caused it. It was around the time the ships started crashing on the coast. Nonetheless, you're certainly welcome to stay here while you sort out a way of escape, a means of travel, or explore the island as you wish.
What do you mean? You said your kobolds. Like, I just wondering what the relationship here is. Do you own them?
No,
or is that just weird language?
I tend to look after them as a grandmother would a set of rowdy kids, if you will. But
Sure.
No, I don't
So
own
it's
them.
not like an indentured servitude or something like that.
And Elder
No.
Renara sort of looks at you, Keelan, and just sort of snorts and just looks at the rest of you and just sort of ignores you a bit.
And this zombie infestation you've been experiencing, have you just been keeping them at bay, or are you actually doing work towards eradicating them?
Well, we've tried, but we're not sure where they're coming from. We mostly get the zombies staggering up onto the beach from time to time, which we are capable of taking out, but we're not sure where they're coming from. We just haven't been able to find the source, if you will.
How much of a problem are these for you?
It's been a big problem. We used to be not a tourist mecca, but we did have a number of ships docking and visiting our tropical isles, our temple. And honestly, we haven't been able to leave since the zombies started arriving. Any ship that comes close by tends to get wrecked. We were quite surprised to see you, to be honest.
So you've never had, from these shipwrecks you've seen, more people like us be, I guess, washed ashore?
Actually, we do have 2 on the island. You might want to have a chat with them later. There's both Tarek, and also there's another one that keeps a bit to herself. But if you have a look around, you'll find the other one. I'm sure she won't want me to introduce her for her.
How long have they been here?
Good 5 years. Good 5 years. Didn't come together, but around 5 years for both of them.
Did we see Tarek with Layla before? We saw a tall robed person.
You don't know. You saw a tall robed person with a hat pulled over. You don't know who that was.
Yeah, but
And last time we also saw or glimpsed a shadow the size of a horse that was flying.
You did. You did.
Something to keep in mind.
do you want to ask Elder that?
I do. I think we've got some good rapport going. So
I mean, I think you do. I don't think she likes me.
Keelan is a different story.
And actually,
bad cop.
Keelan, as you think that, you just hear a simple voice in the back of your head say, goody two shoes, and trails off. Nothing else.
Me?
Nyx.
All right.
You were going to ask Elder.
I will. I'll do it. I've got gumption. I can't help but notice, in fact, we all noticed earlier, there was what seemed to be a rather large shadow sweeping across earlier. What we can only presume was a big flying creature with sort of a hint of blue. What was that?
And Elder Runara sort of pauses, and you can see she furrows her brow, and she's, I'm not sure. There aren't there are large creatures on this island, but not many flying ones. I've seen owlbears in the forest, and there's a few wild kobolds who don't necessarily march to the same beat as my friends here, but something that big, I'm not sure.
Can I do a persuasion check to encourage her to tell us what she does know? Given she seems a little bit reticent.
You can roll a persuasion check. What are you hoping to achieve here? Sort of divulge more information, or?
Yeah, I mean, she said she doesn't know much, but she hasn't given us much. And I'm wondering whether there is more to it or whether that is it. I'm just trying to figure out where she really sits and whether she's holding anything back or whether she's just telling us exactly what she does know.
Okay. Give me an insight check if you want to see if she's holding something back. Give me a persuasion check if you just want to give a general encouragement.
Oh, I'm feeling positive. I'll do a persuasion.
Yep.
Give it a go.
Ooh. Well, 14. That's not too bad.
Okay, so Elder Renara kind of looks at you and says, look, I honestly, I'm not sure what it could have been. There are many large creatures that could fly to this isle. It's not uncommon. We're not that far from the coast. It's possible something could fly here. There are beasts in the wilderness, harpies. I suppose
Harpies.
that's one possibility. Certainly common around these isles sometimes. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, child. I don't know what else it could be. There's many flying creatures that could haunt an island such as this. It's a big island.
Is there anyone who... Oh, sorry, you go first.
No, I was just going to say, can I subtly turn to all of you so we can sort of have a little bit of a group huddle, because there's questions I have and I really want to sound out where everyone's at with what we want to do, because I feel like there's some options that might be worth questioning her a bit more on, but I'm really keen to hear what everyone would like to do. Can I do that slightly without her feeling a bit like, what the heck?
Elder Renara sort of casts eyes over you and says, I can see the battle may have exhausted you, and you certainly I imagine you were shipwrecked by the cut of your clothes. If you wish to rest up, there's several areas you might rest. In area A1 on the map, you'll see, and she sort of unfurls a map in front of you of the local Dragon's Rest area. You'll see some basic cells. We used to use them for prayer, but you can certainly stay there. The kobolds stay in their own ones. You're welcome to stay in sort of their bunk bed accommodations. But I remember roughhousing when I was a teen, and I think they'll be just fine. There's the temple up at area A5 on this map, and we all eat together communally in the dining room at A3. But you're certainly free to rest or take your fill of food or pray at the temple. And yeah, feel free to explore, have a chat to some of the locals. Tarek's around, and well, I suppose I should say Varnorth will be around somewhere. She likes to keep to herself, but Tarek and Varnorth are around if you want to have a chat. But you're certainly welcome. You do whatever you need. I'm going to carry about my daily duties, but carry on.
Before Elder go, Grimotor would approach to her and ask, well, Elder, are you responsible for religious duties on this island?
Yes, I tend to minister to the flock here. I provide what spiritual guidance I can. I'm a bit older in my years now, but I've accumulated some measure of wisdom, I feel, that helps me guide the kobolds.
And if anyone want to pay respect to Bahamut, what form does it take? If someone want to pay respect?
I guess it's a very good question. You're welcome to attend the temple. He would welcome a simple prayer or donation if you wish, but Bahamut is a dragon who appreciates both the intention and the means. So whatever you seem fit.
Elder would notice that Grimotor has a lot of the insignias of Thom, and he proudly kind of like produces shield in front so that she is more aware of it. I myself is a humble servant of Thom, and I'm traveling to assist with those who are in need of guidance or help. As you see, that's a typical paladin vibe emanating from him. And if you have anyone in need of any medical assistance or aids, healing, I should say, I'm at your service as well.
And you see Runara sort of glances over to Lila, the kobold you first noticed, and sort of gestures for Lila to come over. And you see Lila's, again, her wings are a little torn up and scarred from a recent interaction. And she says, perhaps you could take Lila up to either the temple or to her cell and attend to her wounds. That might help.
I'm certainly happy to assist with that.
Before he does that, would anyone else like to do anything?
I'm looking around to see if there's anything to loot.
Yep. You give me a perception check if you just want to have a look around. Yep. Give me a perception check.
14.
Okay, so you see a couple of things. You have a better view. You've come up some of the stairs, and you can now see further up the path. You see up the path to the sort of the cells. She was talking about the monastic cells. So you see a long path that leads from the rocky shore up to the side of the cliff. There's occasional stairs to help sort of ease the ascent, but it's not a dedicated engineering system. It's just sort of rough-hewn stone, sort of made easier to walk on. Sort of like this is not the Bondi to Coogee track. This is a rougher. This is a rougher affair. Here and there along the lower part of the path, there are garden plots that sort of spruce it up and make it look a bit more cheerful. About 30 feet above the bay, so you go up above the water, the path widens into a long plaza, and you can see from this angle a stone statue of a dragon, which sort of gazes down with a benevolent expression on its face right before 6 open doorways, which are the monastic cells. You can also see from this angle, and this is at A2 on your map, there's what looks like a winch house, so a sturdy wooden pallet attached to a rope that you presume they use for something. Yeah, that's what you get. In terms of treasure, there doesn't seem to be much. You catch sight of the 6 or 7 kobolds. One of the kobolds has a dagger. One of the kobolds, Lila, has the tinkerer's tools. One of them has a funny hat. There's also someone standing further up the path. You can see not the trench coat wearer from before, but you see a male figure, sort of a druidic-looking clothing, and he sort of looks over at everyone and just sort of goes back to tending the gardens. That's what you get with the 14. But no sort of obvious things to loot. You're welcome to do a sleight of hand check to check people's pockets or whatever you wish. I'm happy for you to
No,
tell me what you wish to do.
As tempting as it is to steal the funny-looking hat, I'm gonna let it go.
Hold on,
Add it
what's
to
your
Miss
alignment?
Lieutenant Peckish.
What's your
I-
alignment?
Oh,
I think I went with chaotic good.
Okay.
So basically good, but not
Fair.
too bound by the rules.
Things you do for fashion.
We
Yes.
are shipwrecked on an island, so desperate times
That's
could call
right.
for desperate measures.
That's right. No, but I
Yeah.
don't need the hat right now, so I'll leave it go.
Think about
Alright.
Lieutenant Peckish.
And
Oh,
Lieutenant
yeah.
Peckish has actually
Lieutenant
followed
Peckish on
you,
a hat.
and you can see that Lieutenant
Yeah,
Peckish has a dagger in his
He's still got the dagger.
beak, and he's facing off against Frub, who's the kobold with the dagger in his hands, and they're sort of like practicing sparring over to the side, sort of jigging and jabbing. There doesn't seem to be any harm to it. They're just practicing their reflexes.
Awesome. In our little group huddle, Nyx would love to know what everyone would like to do, only because she's got a bit of an itch to go and suss out what looks to be this older druidic character. She's keen to see if she can work out who Tarek and Varnoth are, but was curious if anyone would like to join her or if anyone had any other ideas.
Yeah,
Look, it looks like we're stuck here. It's a safe place, but we're stuck here. We might as well explore and meet the locals.
Agreed.
Renara, I'm just a bit sus on her though. She didn't really give us much information, but she also didn't ask us what to do. So, like, what's the go? Does she want us to do something specific? Why was she so passive about us just being here? Like, I don't know. I'm just a bit wary of her.
That's a fair
if you want to make a roll, you can.
Yeah. And I guess a possibility could be that. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, what sort of role we're talking?
You can make an insight check if you want.
No.
And maybe
14.
14. You don't get much more than the previous insight check that was made. Actually, that was a persuasion check. Sorry. So you get Elder Runara is a bit hard to read. You can see she's got a not quite a politician's face.
17 with my modifier.
Okay. Are you trying to persuade Runara to do something, or do you want to know if she's holding something back?
I just want to say, like, is there anything else that would be really important for us to know being here? Because we've just been shipwrecked and we can see that you've been struggling with these zombies for a really long time. So what is it that you need?
You can see she sort of looks at you and she's off put just a little bit, and you're not sure why, but she looks at you and says, have a chat to Tarek and to Varnoth. The island we keep pretty tidy here in Dragon's Rest, but there's some issues I think that Tarek's been having, and Varnoth's always keeping an eye on these events. I think they could probably steer you in the right direction, but better them than I. I'm just an elderly priest, I'm afraid.
Renara, and Nyx points to the druidic-looking older gentleman. Is that Tarek over there?
Yes, that's Tarek. He's a green thumb.
Great. And anything we need to know that might be helpful?
Well, breakfast is served at 7 a.m. sharp. Lila makes a mean porridge, and I don't have to tell you, but Frub is a devil at puzzles.
Frub. Okay. Well, thank you for that very insightful information. So, would anyone like to join me in going and talking to Tarek?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks.
do it.
Yeah.
As we're leaving, Renara, Keelan kind of looks at her and he just touches her on the arm and he says, I think you're more than just a priest. Look at what you've done here. And he just gives her like a bit of a cheeky wink as they walk away.
Are you flirting?
It's the flirtation check.
I've got quite a charismatic little character here.
I think that might need a charisma roll.
That is. All right. DM, what do you say?
You got a nat 1. That
Um,
could go horribly wrong.
If you're trying to improve your status with her, you can roll me a charisma check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
do
not
it.
trying to.
Do that.
I'm not trying to romance her.
You
Not.
could be stuck on this island for a long time.
The charisma check is 15.
Hey.
Okay. With a 15, she sort of looks at you and says, I sense potential in you. But be careful that potential isn't steered off course. Also, and she leans in to sort of whisper to you, they'll never believe you. But potatoes. And then she sort of turns and walks off, just calm and serene.
Keelan's like, all
So
right.
and she returns to the heading up towards A5, which is the temple area. But yeah, you guys are free to do as you wish. Lieutenant Peckish is still in the middle of a sort of a sparring battle. You can bring him with you if you wish. It's up to you.
Yeah, Grimitor will pick up Lieutenant Peckish. These kobolds could not be trusted with my precious chicken.
That's fair. Is Tarek, so he was tending to, you said, a garden, just peacefully?
Yeah, tending to a garden bed. Just a fairly chill-looking bloke from a quick glance.
Okay. So, and where is he in terms of the map context?
So, Tarek, you will find... If you head up towards A2, you'll run into him there.
All right. Great. So, turning to the group again, should we just be cheery and friendly, or do you want to be a bit coy? Do you want to be wary? How should we play this?
Let's
Do
be
we
friendly.
see
but
any
not give too much
particular
away.
characteristic on him? Anything that could identify his, any allegiance?
Hey, just for no reason,
Yeah.
can everyone just roll me a flat D20 luck check? Just for no
Oh.
reason.
For no reason.
Oh,
There's
love it
always
when
a
a
reason.
DM does that. How do I do just a normal dice roll? Oh, yeah, down the
Just-
bottom.
Wow. Net
I got an
I got
11.
5.
Is it just
Okay,
down the
11,
bottom and I
5.
click the... Oh, let's try this.
Yeah, you can pick which die.
Oh, yeah, 18.
Okay. With an 18 and with a 20, so Nyx with an 18 and Grimtor with a 20, you see that one of the kobolds that was sort of duking and japing around Grimitor has reached into his pocket and just pulled out a gold piece. Both of you catch that, and you're free to do whatever you want with that information.
Hang on, sorry, I did not get it. The gold
You got
piece was
pickpocketed.
from me. Oh,
Yep. So they've reached into your pocket and swiped a piece of gold. Just while
Oh,
they
they
were
have?
Yeah.
Okay, and we've seen that.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to reach over and grab one of their wrists. Just say, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Where do you think you're going?
Blep is supernaturally lucky. How did you catch me?
I have a keen eye. I'm sorry, if you don't mind. Would you please return that?
Yes. And he's going to... you see he attempts to place it back into Grimitor's pocket, and he tries to palm it as he's doing it. So with that perception check and adding in your modifiers, you catch him trying to do that again.
I really don't want to have to ask you twice. I'd really prefer to be nice. Could you please return the gold?
That'd be nice.
Return the gold, and I will be.
Then you see Lila comes over and whacks him on the head and says, Blep, put it back. And Blep decides at that point to release the gold coin. Scary lady. And Blep runs off.
Blep's not the one with the funny hat, is he?
No, Blep is not the one with the funny hat. Blep sort of looks the most alert of the kobolds. He's sort of skittish, constantly snapping his head back and forth. The one with the funny hat is Mumpo, and Mumpo just sort of seems like a fairly chill again, fairly chilled out kobold. So why don't we split it? So we go maybe Nyx, Keelan, and Einar go talk to Tarek, and Grimter, you're going to go help Lila with her wings.
Wink. Yep.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So the three of you, let's do you first. So you approach Tarek. So you see a human in late to middle age. He's sort of pale skin, a few freckles, auburn hair, deep sort of classic druidic beard, the sort of beard you find in a sort of man who lives in the wilds by himself. Faded tattoos. He's got a sort of abstract design that peeks up from the side of his neck. Robes are pretty dirt stained. This is a man who works with the soil. He's tending to a garden plot of flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Yeah. And he sort of looks up at you and is a bit surprised to see visitors.
Hello there.
Hello, I'm Tarek.
Hi, I'm Nyx.
I'm Keelan.
I'm Einar.
Okay. Well, that's quite interesting. And he sort of turns back and starts to go back towards his vegetables.
We have questions. We are new. We are recently shipwrecked, and we've kindly been told by Renara, who we just met, that you would be the best person to talk to in terms of helping us get our bearings. We would greatly appreciate any information or help you might be able to sort of share with us.
And Tarek looks up and sort of says, "What do you know about plants?"
Actually, quite a bit. So
Good.
yeah, what are you growing here?
Well, here I grow the basic herbs that keep the island's medicinal stores stocked, and basic flowers. But actually, I normally go to the south side of the island to get some heartcap mushrooms from the caves there. But we've been there's been issues.
What sort of issues?
Well, normally I'd make my way over there. I've got a nice boat, I'd make a day of it on the water. And I'd go collect some heartcap mushrooms from friendly folk over there called myconids. They're lovely chaps. And lately, though, they've put some barriers to me getting the mushrooms. They've installed, there's been this guardian at the front of their cave that's turned me away. I don't know if the myconids put him up to it or if it's something else. It's a bit bothersome.
So you have a boat.
Oh, yes, best boat on the seven seas. 2 oars, 1 aft, 1 stern, and, made of wood.
Mm.
How long have you been on this island for, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, about 5 years, give or take. You know how time is when you're on a tropical island. Sort of lose track.
Can't say I do, but we might be able to find out soon. Have you ever tried to leave the island on your boat?
No, mostly because of the zombies, but I'm pretty okay generally if I just paddle around in the shallows with the boat. I don't go out too far.
But how is it that the zombies prevent you from going into the deep when they're usually land-based, as far as we've seen?
So we did see one chap who thought he was he thought he'd make a break for it, so to speak. And he got out to a certain distance towards some of the shipwrecks, and the zombies swam to the surface. We didn't know they could do that. I don't know if it's a combination of the gas from decomposition or what's going on there. But yes, they were able to swarm over the boat.
Oh, I see.
Are the zombies, are they more of a water-based problem than a land-based problem? Because so far we've seen a giant zombie turtle dragon thing, and then 2 zombies come out of the water, and you're saying that the zombies are only a problem in the deep water?
They seem to be more common in the deep water. They only seem to come to land incidentally, if that makes sense. Like they're being pushed out from some other point out in the deeper water. That's the best I can guess it, because they don't stagger in from the center of the island, right? No zombie sort of comes trampling out of the forest. They seem to always come up on the beach.
Right.
And you yourself were shipwrecked. What happened in your situation, if you, again, don't mind me asking?
I was part of a mercantile expedition. I was hired to wrangle some animals. I'm quite good with wrangling animals as well as plants. And unfortunately, my ship, back in the day, there hadn't been that many crashes near Stormwreck Isle, so people didn't really avoid it. We were not the first, but one of the first to crash near the island. And as soon as we got close, our helmsman sort of went off course. I didn't really see all of it, but we went off course and we crashed into the rocks and the reef.
Hmm.
And everyone else on your boat, on the ship, what happened to them?
Well, let's just say there used to be a lot less zombies.
Oh.
So that's where they're coming from.
Hmm.
Okay. Is there anything that you think that you need some help with? You mentioned
look,
those
you would be an
mushrooms.
absolute gem if you could help me get these mushrooms. That's honestly one of my main jobs on the island, is making sure these mushrooms get produced. I trade them with the myconids, who are a delightful plant-based mushroom folk. But I just can't get past their guardian. I'm normally quite good at wrangling animals, but there's some sort of beast that lurches out of the water and attacks me when I get too close. And
So it's a physical beast that's blocking you.
Oh yes.
Hmm.
And what do you trade them? What do they want?
They want all sorts of things. They'll take food. I can give you some of the basic supplies the myconids like, a variety of surprisingly meats, but they do eat meat and dried rations. They seem to love them. And they occasionally ask for simple trinkets or simple medicinal supplies, but generally speaking, they'll just want food in trade.
And so I've got pretty good medicine and nature skills based on like the life I've lived. Am I aware of what these heartcap mushrooms are typically used for without asking him?
You can make me a nature check if you want. That's not a hard nature check.
It's a 5 because I rolled a 2.
You're pretty sure that they're used. Nah, you got nothing.
Kaelin's just like,
Interesting.
Kaelin's just like, God, cannot remember this. Jared, can you just refresh my memory? Because I know this. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But what do you use those heartcap mushrooms for?
Oh, they make a sparkling healing potion. Red as a rosé. Very good.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
And Derek just gives you a knowing smile.
This guardian you talk of, if we could help in any particular way, what would that mean for you and the island? Would it be beneficial if we stepped in?
Oh yeah, go nuts. Like, I'm getting a bit older. Like, I'm still capable, but I'm if you could take care of that guardian and see what's going on in the caves. I don't know. As I said, I don't know if the guardian is new, if it's external, if the mushroom people put him up to it. If you could investigate that, it would be just an absolute solid.
And he's outright ever attacked you, or is it more just he steps in as defense? Sorry, in defense, to sort of intimidate you to not approach.
I got hit in the face with a tentacle.
So he attacked you. Okay.
Did you notice? Was it a zombie tentacle?
I don't think so. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it was a middle battle, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a zombie tentacle. Sean, just with your passive perception, you catch that Blep has snuck up behind you and is attempting to pilfer your pocket while this exchange is going on.
Can I spin around and confront him?
Do
Yeah,
it.
you can.
Do it.
Spin around and raise my hand as if I'm about to give him a firm slap.
Blep's scarf is off. Blep's not a, he's not full of courage. He's a sneaker.
He's just
That's fine. And Tarek sort of looks at you all and sort of he hands you over a bunch of supplies. It's a mix of rations and meat and food to trade to the Myconids if you do manage to
he
investigate
assumes
that.
we're just going to go do it.
Yeah.
He's like, here you go, see you, bye.
What, you guys busy with something? Do you have brunch planned?
We'll do it. I mean, would you all like to do it?
Yeah, I'll take the stuff.
We're going to be here for a while, it looks, so we may as well
Yeah,
be
yeah.
helpful.
I'll tell you what, I'll sweeten the pot. If you help
Can
me
we
out with
use
this,
your
you can
boat?
use my boat to explore the island. I'll give you the padlock key.
And we
That's
can use your boat to do this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're welcome to walk over the island. I'll show you a map in a sec, but you can either swing around to the sea caves on the south side of the island, or you're welcome to cross the island by foot. Neither is without risk. Obviously the zombies are rarer closer to the shores. They can happen. The island itself has its own dangers. It's wild animals and such, but either would be a fine path to follow.
Sure. And you've got a map we can look at.
Yes, I'll show you a map in just a sec.
No worries.
Maybe I'll just turn to Keelan and Ina. Maybe going by boat could be worthwhile, given it might give us an understanding of what's happening, not just in the shallows, but hopefully a little bit in the deep waters as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get on a boat ever again, but we'll chat.
Yes, I know.
we're
I'm
gonna
not keen either.
What? Guys!
I know it's a city boy. He didn't want to get on a boat in the first place.
I've been on one boat. And
that was your
one
first
time-
ever boat trip. I
Same
see.
Rhino.
I see.
Nyx, this is the first time I've left my village. And when I say village, I mean the house I lived in with my mum.
I see. No judgment. Understand. I can appreciate that. How about we do it together as a learning exercise? But I do think it would give us great intel. The minute we see trouble, I will just fireball away.
Seems like a good plan.
Chaos and mayhem.
Grimator is not there.
Cut to Grimator. Grimator, you are taking Lila to one of the, essentially one of the monastic areas to help her heal her wings. Do you talk to her? She's fairly quiet now at the moment.
And the injury or the wound, can I see or determine the cause of the injury?
Yeah,
the
sure.
look
You
of
can
it.
make a investigation check, or you can convince me of some other check if you wish. You also just talk to them.
No, only 4. So, Grimator, look at it. This is an old wound. Lila, have you been in a fight with a dragon or something before?
Yes, Lila fight dragon. You should see other guy.
Really? What happened to the dragon?
Attack my wings, but I trick it. In battle of puzzles.
I see. And you're a
And
kobold.
Grimator. Winged kobold. And you see as you walk into her room in the monastic cells that there's an active puzzle set up on the table, over 10,000 pieces sort of spread out. And you get the feeling this is how she
I
spends her
remember
time.
now. Yes.
Sort of
And
fills in
what is the
hours.
puzzle made of? What's the picture? Oh,
It's hard
what
to
does it
tell
look like?
initially. You see that it's only about a 10th done. You think it's maybe the basis of a ship. You're not entirely sure.
do you make these puzzle pieces by yourself, or where do you get them from?
Several wash up from ships. Many ships crash. First compass rose, then many others.
Oh, so you're saying you're combining all of them into a large puzzle?
Yes, take many pieces, throw out bad ones, put good ones together.
So how do you make it out if the pieces do not fit?
I am puzzle master. You question me.
I'm not questioning myself, but I'm also a puzzle enthusiast, if you call me.
Challenge
And
him.
I can see,
At-
I
at
can,
that-
I can
at
see
that you
that
see-
10 pieces not a fitting.
And you can see there's a second puzzle actually just over on another table, and it's about a tenth of the way done as well. About many pieces, and you can see both of them are about the same completed. And Lila says, "You talk big game. You walk as well."
Well, you tell me what. I can finish that one before you can finish that side.
Ready, set,
Do you
go!
want to
And Lila
race?
runs over to the puzzle and starts putting pieces in. So you're free to start doing the other puzzle if you wish, and keep talking to her.
Yeah.
Lieutenant
I'll-
Peckish
I'll
is going to
start
charge in,
doing
and so Lieutenant Peckish will also charge up and start poking pieces with his beak, and he'll give you the help action. If you can roll me a, this is your choice actually. You can roll me a sleight of hand or a intelligence check with advantage for Lieutenant Peckish's help, and to see how you compare against this kobold.
Neither of them are his strength, but Grimoire will try. Well, 18 of sleight of hand.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see how good Lila is at puzzles. Yeah, Lila got a 6. So the puzzle master is clearly sweating under pressure, and you can see that she's glancing over at you and seeing pieces flying back and forth, and she ends up just collapsing on the table, defeated as you complete a 10,000 piece puzzle in the course of about 30 minutes.
Speed
It's a matter
demon.
of practice.
And Lila says, "Please heal my wings. My spirit is broken,
Yes.
but wings could be healed."
I'm sure you could have beaten me if your wings are good.
Yes, my wings are fine. Like my two brothers, Mech and Min, they also have fine wings, but I haven't seen them in a while. Please heal wings.
All right. So you sit here, and let me wash my hands first. They're covered with blood and sweat, and from the whatever left from the fight. And he will wash his hand, and he removed the gloves or any other gauntlet of the metal armor, and he kneeled down next to the small kobold, and said, "By the power of Tom, I heal you, my friend," and put his hand onto the wings and like holding between the two palms. And Lila could feel some warmth coming from the wound area, kind of. And there is no pain, but afterwards, when the hands are off, the wings are as good as new.
Hmm.
And you can see Lila reaches back and sort of pats her back, and she looks up at you and says,
How is it?
"Lila told lie."
So I think you have a good pair of good wings now.
Lila did not fight dragon.
Oh, really? I did not know. I thought you fought them.
Lila attacked by sturges.
Sturges. Is it on the island?
Sturges happen mostly in caves, but can be anywhere on island. Thank you for healing wings. If you need buy anything, Lila also runs store on island, and Lila's runs the store on the island. You can buy any of the basic adventurer's gear you wish. Just, nothing fancy, but the basic stuff that's in the adventurer's handbook can be purchased from Lila while you're here on Dragon's Rest. There's a small tariff for island tax. Not substantial.
Although at the rate Blep's going,
Well,
not sure we're going to have
good
much
to
gold
know.
left.
And Medics,
yeah, Lila.
do kobolds always live on the island? I find them very interesting. A group of kobolds led by a human cleric.
We good kobolds? Bad kobolds in forest? But we good. Elder Runar are kind to us.
Were you here before Elder arrived to the island, or you arrived after her?
And you see she sort of thinks and holds up a paw and sort of goes, 1, 2, 3, At least 4 days. And you get the sense that kobolds may not have as good a sense of time as other races.
4 days before you, or she arrived after you?
Yes.
Which one is it?
And you see Lila sort of goes off to another place. And you get the sense that she's sort of a very clever inventor, but she's not so good at keeping track of time.
All right, I won't press on that. But you call yourself a inventor. What do you invent?
And this she whips up a crossbow. It's loaded. It's like, this crossbow, good for shooting zombies. And you can see it's actually loaded and the safety's off. And,
Whoa,
and again,
whoa, whoa.
Lila, very, very clever inventor. You get the sense that maybe she's not so good with the day-to-day practicalities of things.
Is that actually a good one? Like a good
Yes.
How is the quality?
It shoot arrow from bow.
Show me.
And you can see without, she sort of flicks it up and shoots it out the doorway without really checking. Lieutenant Peckish dives to the side, spinning out of the way, in sort of a flourish. And you can see a figure actually, it walks in through the doorway, just like it shoots past her nose, and the figure doesn't flinch. The figure just like snorts. It's like, and you see a muscular human, black hair, sort of cropped close to her scalp, light brown skin, has a lot of scars. One runs along her left eye, which is milky white and blind. She's got a prosthetic leg made from wood and metal on her right leg below the knee. And she sort of walks in and says, Lila, you need it up at the temple. And Lila sort of dashes off and scurries up towards the temple. Who are you then?
Name is Scimitar. And you, friend?
Varnoth.
Oh, no. Elder Renara said we would find you on the island. We shipwrecked only today. I have 3 other travelers with me. Have you seen them?
Caught a glimpse of them on the way down. They nearly got robbed by a kobold.
One of them actually tried to rob me too. Tried to steal a coin from me.
That sounds like a you problem.
Oh, is that it? And tell me, what do
Anyway.
you do on the island?
I'll fix things. The temple needs upkeep. Hey, just
Are you
for
good
fun,
with?
give me an insight
Are you
check.
good with? Sorry, are you good with fixing or repairing armor and shields?
Yeah, I could fix armor and shields if there's something in it for me.
What did you say before, Chris?
Roll me an insight check. And at this point, if the rest of you 3 want to catch up to Grimitor, you're welcome to.
Yep. Did we get the keys to the boat?
Yep, yeah. Tarek says, "Don't forget the keys," and throws them to you, and they.
Inside is 19.
19. Okay, you get the sense that with a 19, you don't get these kind of scars fixing temples. They're all old, but you can see that, these are not the scars of someone who's a mason or a carpenter. Or not a very good one, anyway.
Looks like you had been in nasty fights in your life, from the look of it. And he showed one of his scars on the arm. I got them as well. These are from fighting with the human armies in the north.
You can see she sort of nods at you with respect, and sort of her demeanor changes a bit. Says, Good story. You're a tough one. And good at puzzles, I see.
Yes, I am. And he showed her the shield. Do you think you can fix that crooked dent? I fought with this giant sea turtle before our shipwreck, and it took a bit of a chunk of my shield.
That sounds like a good story. I'll tell you what, I'll fix this up. I'll fix this right up for you. I just got to knock together a few planks up at the temple. If I fix this up, though, there's something you could probably help me with. It might be to your interest. See, I fix the temple most days. There's bits of it broken down. When I was fixing it recently, I saw, this was a few days before you, mind, I saw a ship change course and crash into the rocks to the north. And I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to get all my carpenter supplies with ships constantly crashing. If you can get a boat, it might be worth investigating the crash ship to the north. The first one was the Compass Rose. That one might be worth exploring.
Grimentor will look at the other three who just joined him. But I don't have a boat to go there. And look
We
at,
can
look
help
at
with
them.
that. We have
Oh.
keys.
So it's showing like that.
And Varnoth sort of
Oh.
nods at you and it's like, all right. Well, you're a motley crew. Anyway, I got to go back up to the temple. It's right at the top of the cloister. You're welcome to come have a look if you want. But yeah, if you could check out the Compass Rose, that'd help me out.
We shall be of assistance to you. And you can see that Grimentor has absolutely no concept of reward or anything, because if someone asks him to do, he just nod his head.
Right, you've got the rest of us to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Now, Grimtor, you're the only one who's heard Varnoth's name. Can you give me a history check to follow up your previous check?
12.
Seems like an interesting character. That's all you get.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've encountered Tarek, you've encountered Varnoth. So you have explored the monastic cells in A1. You've been over towards A2 and you've met Tarek. You haven't been in the community hall. At A2, there's also a winch with a pallet. If you want to go have a look at that, if you want, there's a community eating hall and the temple at A5. Otherwise, you've basically explored Dragon's Rest. So you know that to the south of Stormwreck Isle, there is a series of caves that Tarek has asked you to look into. To the north, there is the wreck of the Compass Rose. Both are accessible by boat. You can access the caves by foot as well. And beyond that, you don't have any other particular points of interest in the island. You're welcome to go tramping through the middle of the island if you want. You can go explore any point. You can talk to the people at the temple.
Where's Dragon's Rest on the island?
How seaworthy is Grimentor, just out of interest?
No, he was having seasickness, if you recall, in the first session. But
Oh, sure.
a small boat is slightly different.
Okay, so he can handle his own. Is he well versed?
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you can see a couple of points on the map you've been given. You can see that there is the wreck of the Compass Rose to the north. Dragon Rest is sort of in that bay towards the midline of the island.
Okay.
And Seagrow Caves is to the south. And you also see marked something called the Cliff Top Observatory, which you haven't heard much about.
Okay. I know Nyx is pretty keen to go see the Guardian and investigate the caves in the boat.
Yep.
I kind of want to go to this temple. Like while we're in Dragon's Rest, why don't we just head up to this temple and see what's there before we leave?
You
Sure.
might also check the winch and the pallet on the way. I'm curious about what that's for.
Okay. Let's resolve the winch and the pallet first. So you approach the winch house, which is A2 on your map. You see a small freestanding building halfway up the path, a peak roofed and a weathered wooden door, sturdy wooden pallet wrapped with rope and iron chains. As you walk past it, you see again the statue of the dragon, so a stone statue of a dragon just gazing out on the bay. So in the winch house, you see a winch and a pallet and water about 50 feet below.
So it's just a winch. You winch the pallet up and down the cliff face, essentially.
Okay. So you see, it looks like a winch they might use to collect deliveries from ships. Nothing too fancy. Hasn't been used in a little while. If you want, you can pull the winch, I suppose. There's not much to see in here, to be honest.
Is it up? Like the pallet's
Yeah,
up?
so it's hanging in the middle of the air, sort of just swaying back and forth over the water.
Might
And
as
if we
well.
look,
See what happens.
if we look down, it's just there's no beach or anything. It's just
water.
underneath.
A smaller boat might pull in off a bigger ship to sort of load cargo.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the lever.
Crunk.
So you pull the lever, the pallet falls down to the water and floats there.
Worth investigating.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have no idea as a DM why they put this in the module. It's just a winch house with a winch and a pallet.
But like that could be an escape route
Yes, it's an escape route.
from the water and the zombies.
Yeah.
So can we just leave it? In case
Yeah,
we're down
you're welcome
in
to
the
leave it
water?
down. No one's
Yeah.
sort of
Good idea.
around.
Or the kobold who is stealing coins could be stashing his treasures there.
At the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, let's keep an
in
eye
the
on
winch
Steph.
house.
We haven't seen the last of him yet.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe
Might
he
be a
can go over
secret
the
compartment we don't see.
Yeah, so you're welcome to keep poking around, but
Right.
if
Go
you
to
want, you
the-
can move on.
Go to the temple.
Move on. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yep. So you walk past the first smaller stone statue of a dragon on the way to the temple. As you approach the temple itself, you walk past the cloister library, which is building A4. So building A4 is the library for the area. It's a doorway cut into the cliff face. Most of these buildings are cut into the cliff face itself. Iron banded door, spacious library, sort of bookshelves. Surprising amount of books, to be honest, for an island. Not huge. There's a small table, 2 benches, some writing implements, and a book stand. Nothing too fancy. No one's in there at the moment. You carry on past that to the Temple of Bahamut. So you see this open air temple, and you spotted this on your way in, I believe, Sean. It's a open air temple. It sort of hangs over the cliff itself. It's supported by archstone struts anchored to the cliff face. The north wall of the temple is carved directly into the rock, while the rest is open to the sea air. And heavy pillars mark the 3 open sides, supporting the wooden roof. In the center of the temple, you see that same statue you saw before of a kind-looking old man with canaries perched on his head, shoulders, and hands. And you walk in and you just honestly feel serene. Like, this place has a chill vibe. This place is really lo-fi, for lack of a better word.
Lo-fi beats.
Mhm.
So yeah, you see a statue in the middle of the temple. That's the only real furnishing. You see Elder Renaris off to the side, sort of just contemplatively sipping a cup of tea.
What kind of tea?
It's a green tea variant, you think? Yeah. From a quick glance, you think it's probably green tea.
Chilling out a little bit too much. Did Grimmatar want to pay homage to Thorn?
Any other than the statue itself, is there any other tools or any furnitures that is used for religious purposes?
You do see that there is the statue's pedestal. Each at north, south, east, west. There are 4 small holes you imagine are used to make offerings to Bahamut. So you might place incense there or something of that nature. You also see some tools where Varnoth has been fixing part of the temple, just scattered, not a huge amount of debris, but just sort of a spare hammer, some nails, and you see that over to the south side. That's really all you see. It's a fairly sparse temple.
The Grimmador will approach the statue and put his take out the long sword with the scabbard together and put onto the in front of the statue, and just make a slight bow, very quick, paying respect gesture, and then he retreat back to the group.
Okay. Keelan, you feel slightly uneasy. Just a faint nausea in your stomach. You can't feel why.
Yeah.
Einar, how do you feel being in a temple of Bahamut? We haven't heard much about how Einar feels about this.
Look, it's all new to Einar. Religion's not really something he's had anything to do with. So it's interesting that he feels serene. Perhaps he feels safe, relaxed. A tension has come off his brow, perhaps. But he's still looking around all the time, checking the path up from the beach.
Okay. And Nyx, how do you feel being in a temple of the dragon?
I'm intrigued and curious. I have been well studied in religions, but I guess, I can't say that I know a lot about this particular one. So I'm just very interested, I guess, in looking around with intrigue.
Make for me one last perception check, Nyx. Just understanding your background. Can I, without revealing too much, can you just make a perception check for me?
That's an 8.
With an 8, as you're walking around the temple, you see Elder Renara sort of tucks a sheet just under her. She's got a book in front of her. She just tucks a sheet away that she doesn't let you see.
Okay.
And you don't really see what she's working on. Okay, yeah.
Can Keelan peace out of the temple?
Yeah,
and he's just like, I just gonna get some fresher air, as like a gust of fresh air rushes through the temple, and he steps out. And I'm actually gonna make my way back to the library because I love books. So I'm just like,
yeah, sure.
Gonna go have a look in there, because I don't mention to anybody that I feel nauseated.
What are you looking for? Anything? Or
Literally
just
getting out of there, and little bit of an ego bruise. So I'm going to go have a look about these heartcap mushroom, see if there's anything in the library about any of the herbs that I noticed that he was growing, and then maybe look up what these heartcap mushrooms are actually all about, and maybe the myconids as well, just if that's something we're going to do.
Sure. With a quick check, as you duck out, the others are probably not going to be hanging around forever. You can choose to investigate either the myconids or high-cap mushrooms with an investigation roll.
Let's do them.
You prefer.
I'll do the myconids because, Carrick already told me about them.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's a 13.
Yeah, with the 13, you grab a book. It's a ye-old book of monsters and yore. You find a few notes scrawled in there, and myconids is a relatively short section, but myconids seem to be a plant-based mushroom folk. They are sentient. They are able to communicate, but they tend to communicate with spores. So they have spores they can project that allow for telepathic communication. You see that they're generally of a friendly disposition. And that's sort of all that's scrawled in this book. You see it's a pretty thick book. Like, they're trying to condense a lot of knowledge into books that don't have necessarily printing presses or mass production necessarily. And as you're reading it, a figure sort of comes over, and you see it's the mysterious figure with the trench coat and the hat. And they sort of look over at what you're looking at, and they say, "Greetings. I am a trio of kobold. And I hear you are looking to adventure on my island."
Sorry, did you say a trio of kobolds?
A trio of kobold.
Right. Okay. And this is your island.
Yes, I am the premier adventurer.
The premier adventurer. Okay. And where is he standing?
He's about 5 foot from you. He's sort of leaning over your book to see what you're reading.
So I just stand up really abruptly and kind of push my chair back and try and give him a little nudge just to see what happens. Not in like an aggressive, forceful way, but just like oh, well, I'm done here. I'm going to go meet my friends. I stand up.
Yeah. I'm just going to roll something. You can roll for me an intelligence check as well.
It's a 10.
10? Okay, let me just see what happens. Okay. Yeah, so with a 10, you don't necessarily get much, but a trio of kobold has rolled a dexterity saving throw, and with that you see that 3 kobolds topple out of the trench coat. So you see that you think that in fact a trio of kobold is just a trio of kobolds stacked atop one another.
Shocking.
Is one of them Blep though?
No, one of them's not Blep. These are the 3 kobolds. That
Yeah,
you
do I
have not met
recognize
yet.
any of them? Righto.
No, you didn't actually see any of them running around. So there were maybe 6 running around you when you first arrived. But there's 3 of them who just tumble out and sort of scatter onto the ground, and you see they sort of look very embarrassed and they scarper for the entrance.
No, a trio, don't go. And I try and persuade them to stay.
Yeah, you can give me a persuasion roll. You can give me a persuasion roll with advantage, in fact, given you just sort of surprised them.
Hold on. So that's the first one.
Yep.
It's a 12.
12. Yeah, with a 12, they sort of stop running away, and they say, they sort of look a bit ashamed, and they say,
I love your coat. Where did you get
"It
that
is a
one
good
from?
coat." And you see the one that was on top of the stack does most of the talking, and he says, "It's a good coat. We steal from Varnoth."
Ah, I'm so sorry to have knocked you over. You mentioned that you're a mighty adventurer.
Yes, I have slain many beasts on this island. If you are
Many
going
beasts?
adventuring, a trio of kobold is a fine companion.
Did you want to come with us? We're
Well,
very
the 3 of us
short-manned.
can't go. Luckily, if you are short-manned, we are 3 short kobolds. And the 3 of us could not possibly come with you. Society wouldn't allow it.
Ah,
But a trio of kobold, and you see they scamper back into a stack, and sort of the one at the bottom, and the one in the middle, and then the one at the top all form together, and they fully trench coat over them. And he says, a trio of kobold could come with you. But it's very
I
important.
love
Do
it.
not tell your friends. Do not blow my cover. My mystery must remain.
no, absolutely.
And so this is just
I
still
love
keeling
a
in the
mystery.
library.
I love a mystery.
Okay.
That sort of touched my nose.
So they redress. They're fully covered up. And as far as everyone else in the party knows, this is well, you know, you can come to your own conclusions, but you don't actually know this is a stack of kobolds in a trench coat.
Just before they come in, I just tell Atreyo, I go, Atreyo, how about we just go with Atreyo, not a trio of kobold? Just makes it easier to say.
Yes, you are a clever one. You will make a fine sidekick for a trio.
Yes. You and me together.
And then, that's what you get on Myconids. Atreyo is happy to join you for your first quest if you wish. I will roll dice for them. They're not a powerhouse, but they will balance out some of the encounters a little. So you have you've explored most of Dragon's Rest. You've met most of the characters here, and you have the choice of exploring the locations in the Isle. Where would you like to go?
I think we probably need to have a conversation about that.
I think we do.
All right, so the four of you meet up. Atreyo sort of taps you on the shoulder, Kill, and says, "I will gather my things. I'll meet you later." And they scamper off.
I'd love to put in a vote for the caves and the Myconids and the Guardian, only because I think helping Tarek is a sort of easing into process, and he looks like he's got more information. Plus, having a boat, having his trust could be quite helpful.
Seems like a more important.
And if we help
I vote the wreck. The wreck's got more chance of treasure, more chance of loot.
All right.
Yeah.
Treasure Goblin noted. But could it not be argued that if we earn Tarek's trust, he'll keep lending us the boat, which we can then use to go and explore the shipwrecks with?
Now that we've got the boat, we can do what we like now.
That's fair. We can do whatever we want with the boat, I suppose. But I just feel like if we earn his trust, that might be helpful. And if we help him, he'll keep helping us.
I actually tend to agree that the caves are probably a better choice, purely because the shipwreck boat is a shipwreck boat and they keep happening, and like that happened to us. But this cave, someone's interfered here and something is going on to block sort of the preservation of the society that's kind of built up here. So that feels like a more active motion, sort of. Also, the chances of that entire boat being full of zombies is pretty high.
Agreed.
Well, Einar's willing to go along with it, but if we all get eaten by a tentacle monster, I'm not going to be responsible for it.
If the DM allows us to level up, that should not be a problem, isn't it?
You haven't quite hit level up yet. It's not fun, but it's...
Although, don't a few of us have healing powers?
Well, we could have a break before we go there. We could have a little rest.
Well, we would.
I've got cure wounds if it comes to that.
Yeah.
The elder said we could use those rooms to
rest up. Yeah.
Rest up, I think she said.
I think we should have a rest before we go, but my vote would be for the caves in the south.
Great. So we're all in agreement on that?
I think begrudgingly from Einar.
We can go to the caves, but then after that, definitely.
We'll treasure hunt away after that.
The treasure's not going anywhere. There's no one here.
True.
Fair enough.
So the four of you plan to have a long rest. And from that point you can have a short rest, a long rest, and then proceed from there to check out Seagrow Caves. You have Tarek's boat. You have explored Dragon's Rest. As you go to take your short rest, Grimitor, you see Lieutenant Peckish just sitting on the edge of the temple, looking out over the cliffs forlornly, just off into the distance. And you can see him just looking towards the storm that has drifted away, just the edge of it on the horizon. And you get the sense that he's looking for Gillian Armamente and just waiting patiently. And you can see it, that although the chicken is concerned, there's a degree of faith in the chicken's expression, as if he's not counting out Gillian Armamente just yet.
Oh, what if she's a zombie?
And that's where we're going to end this.
Oh, this could be awkward.